I step aboard the USS Nitro. This is going to be my home for the next 4 years. Seaman Halloran reporting for duty, sir. Welcome aboard, Seaman Halloran. You're going to want to call your family. We're going to war in 2 weeks. This is where my hope journey began, help one person every day, because I was feeling like all of my shipmates were. We were terrified. We were disappointed. Some of us were really angry. So I did what any normal human being would do, was I walked around and I told as many people as I could every day that I loved them. Now this wasn't like, love you, man. This was heavy eye contact, I love you. Now, I want you to know it didn't go over as well as I was hoping. There was this one guy, his name was Williams, and I found him every day because he roasted me every day. I found out things about my personal hygiene, my mom, and my appearance that I really didn't know anything about. Unfortunately, he didn't just do this with me, he did this with everybody. And you can't do that in the military. So he ended up getting kicked out, and my job at the time was to do the paperwork for those people who are getting discharged from the Navy. So he shows up to my office. He's got his big green sea bag, and you might have seen those in pictures. They're like long tubey looking things. Most inefficient ways to pack. And he throws it down on the ground and sits down in the chair and kind of slumps over. No eye contact. He didn't have problems making eye contact before. Paperwork was done, so I slid the paperwork across the table, and he feverishly signed it, and as he stood up, he knocked the chair across the ground. Scared him, scared me. Embarrassed, he grabbed a sea bag, threw it up over his shoulder, and he turned. He said, "Why did you do it? Why did you tell me you love me every day?" "Because I do." And he just nodded. "Said, you made this place okay." Hope. You can say something kind to help one person every day. My wife Angela and I worked at a place called Boys Town. And this is a treatment facility that's a family-style treatment facility. Couples live with kids, anywhere from 4 to 8 teenage boys or girls in a home. We had the younger kids when we first started. These were preteens and teens. Higher rates of behavior, not the greatest social skills. Like they would do stuff like scream for 2 days straight or chuck stuff at us. Surprisingly enough, they were wildly creative, just like Williams. They would tell us stuff about our parents who really opened their eyes. But we had one kid, we'll call him Jeff, that wasn't his real name, and he was really struggling for like 2 weeks. Now this is longer than most kids really struggle. So we're in a treatment team meeting, and Angela looks at me and she says, "Why don't you offer him a hug?" Okay, I'm game. The treatment team had to approve. They said yes. I'd get consent from Jeff, and then I had to document it. That was a little bit more difficult. So the kids come home from school, as kids do. "Hi, how you doing? You know, how was school?" And they go sit down at the dining room table. And I'm standing in the living room. Not normally what's happening. I'm usually sitting down with the kids, waiting for Jeff to come home. 10 minutes later, kind of walks in, throws his bag where he's not supposed to because he didn't care. And I'm standing in the middle of the living room, and I said, "Could you use a hug?" And his body slammed in me so fast. And I could feel years of sadness and neglect and a little bit of excitement and anger all flow through him. And as quickly as those emotions came, they just left. Now there's a rule. This is the rule of hugging. And I need all of you to agree to this. If you offer somebody a hug, you are not allowed to let go until they let go. He didn't let go. I didn't let go. 30 seconds pass. Now, picture this. Man hugging teenage boy in the middle of a treatment facility. All of the kids are at the table. He realized that people were looking. So he stepped back, and I stepped back. As he wiped the tears from his eyes, he said, "Thank you. I've never been given a hug by a man before." And he was 16. Hope. Help one person every day. You can do it by saying something kind. can do it by physically doing something kind. And some of you aren't going to feel comfortable walking around and randomly telling people you love them. I understand. It's fun. And some of you, this is the best, aren't going to hold a sign up on the street corner that says free hugs. But if you have the courage, it's a magnificent experience. So if those two are a little extreme, here's the one that everybody can do, which is to just be present. So we're Boys Town again. We had community meetings, right? So our community was 6 families that lived on a circle. And we had them every month, and this was out of the normal cadence, so something was going on. We found out that we were going to get this young boy from Louisiana who had been found locked in a refrigerator covered in his own waste for being punished for being disrespectful to his parents. Our treatment plan for him was simple, but it was not easy. It was to get him to smile. It was to get him to make eye contact. That took 2 months. And the day that it happened, though, the family teachers were over the moon, but the kids were proud of him too. And they were all shaking his hand and slapping him on the back. And this opened up the next level of treatment, which means we could take him out in public. We called them outings. And in Boys Town, we used to get great tickets. And the next outing we had was the College World Series of Baseball. Big deal in Omaha, Nebraska. Personally, side note, I don't really understand why you would take, in our case, 12 at-risk teenage boys to watch one guy throw a ball at another guy, hoping that the third guy doesn't hit the ball, and if he does hit the ball, he runs for about 10 seconds. And this lasts 4 hours. But the kids were over the moon. We were going to spoil the heck out of them. Hot dogs, hamburgers, popcorn, peanuts, the whole 9 yards. And when we would take our kids out on these outings, we would do something called pre-teaching, which is setting expectations for the behaviors we wanted them to exhibit while we were out and about. And there were many of them, but one of them was we were going to leave at the 7th inning stretch. Okay? Everybody stands up. They sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and we were going to leave. 7th inning happens. We all stand up. Everybody's singing. Song's over. We all turn. Louisiana sits down. We tried stuff. We were highly trained. He was what we call non-compliant. No eye contact, not following instructions. With 20,000 people around. So I said, okay guys, here's what's going to happen. I'll stay here with him. I'll either meet you up on this hill, because we were going to leave at the 7th inning, and drive up about a mile up the hill to go ahead and watch the fireworks well away from the craziness and the traffic. Or I'll meet you back at Boys Town in case it takes a little longer. Okay. You guys remember those old cartoons? When like the cartoon character would do like this and like a little puff of smoke would happen and then they're gone? Before my butt hit the ground, all of the people were gone. They were so ready to leave. And I sat down right next to Louisiana. He wasn't making any eye contact. So in baseball, there's generally 9 innings, okay? And the 8th inning went normal 8th inning, 20, 30 minutes. 9th inning began, people around us start gathering up their stuff. He's looking around. I said, hey man, 20,000 people are about to get up at the same time. I'm afraid we're going to get separated. I knew he heard me. He didn't say anything. So the 9th innings happened, first couple outs, and all of a sudden people start getting up to leave. And he looks at me and goes, Matt, okay, I'm ready to go. I go, good job, dude, yeah, let's go. So we start scooching down the aisle. We get about 10 feet from the exit. Game's over. Crowd goes crazy. And then all of a sudden, the sky just opens up with fireworks. Now, we were so close to these fireworks, you could feel the explosions, and you could smell the fireworks. So him and I are standing there, and all of a sudden, I feel this little hand grab my hand. And I look down, and his eyes were the size of dinner plates, and he was just crying, and he had this look of happiness and awe and excitement, a little bit of fear every time an explosion happened. I realized at that moment that he didn't want to leave because he had never seen fireworks before. I got to share that with him. Hope. Help one person every day. You can do it by saying something kind. You can do it by physically doing something kind, or you can just be present for somebody who needs it. And my ask for all of you is to just choose one. Please, just choose one. Because if you do, we can truly change this world, because hope begins with you. Thank you.